I work security at a data center. It's the easiest job in the world. I sit in a booth, watch 16 monitors, and make sure the cooling fans stay green. When I started, the supervisor gave me a printed sheet of social distancing guidelines. I thought it was a leftover COVID thing until I actually read it. Rule number 4 was highlighted in yellow. If you see a technician in a gray jumpsuit who isn't carrying a badge, do not approach. Do not speak. Continue your rounds as if the hallway is empty. 3 months in, I saw him. He was standing in hallway B, staring at a blank wall. No badge, gray jumpsuit. I did what the rule said. I walked right past him. But as I got close, I realized I couldn't hear my own footsteps anymore. It was like he was a mute button for the world. When I got back to the booth and checked the playback, the hallway was empty on the footage. It was just me, walking and looking at nothing. Last night, the grey man was sitting in my booth when I came back from the bathroom. He was sitting in my chair, looking at the monitors. I froze. I wanted to scream, but I remembered the rule. Continue, as if the room is empty. So I walked to the desk, leaned over him, and grabbed my coffee mug. My hand passed through his shoulder. It didn't feel like air. It felt like static electricity. I sat on the floor and waited for my shift to end, pretending he wasn't there. When I got home this morning, my wife asked why I'd been standing in the driveway for an hour before coming inside. I told her I just got home. She looked at me, confused, and showed me the ring camera footage. At 6 a.m., a man in a grey jumpsuit stood in our driveway, staring at our front door. He didn't move until my car pulled in, and then he just merged into my shadow. I'm sitting on the couch now, and the house feels quiet. Not peaceful quiet, muted quiet. I work as a night janitor for the Meridian Plaza. It's a standard 30-story office building, but the freighter elevator has a quirk. There is no button for the 14th floor. In this city, floors go from 13 to 15 because of superstition. My boss gave me one rule. If the elevator stops between 13 and 15, do not look at the gap in the doors. Just press L and wait. Tuesday night, the power flickered. I was in the freight lift with a heavy cart of industrial cleaner. The elevator groaned, lurched, and stopped. The digital display didn't show 13 or 15. It showed a symbol I didn't recognize, a circle with a horizontal line through it. The doors didn't open all the way, but they cracked about 4 inches. Curiosity is a death sentence. I looked through the crack. The 14th floor wasn't an office. It was a forest. Not a real one. It was made of grey, calcified stone. Trees made of concrete, leaves made of sharpened glass. And there were people. They were dressed in 1950s office attire, but their skin was the same dull grey as the concrete trees. They weren't moving. They were posed like mannequins, mid-stride, mid-conversation. One of them, a secretary holding a stone typewriter, turned her head. It made a sound like a sledgehammer hitting a sidewalk. She looked through the 4-inch crack and smiled, her teeth jagged bits of rebar. She didn't try to get in. She just handed me a memo through the gap. I took it. It was a piece of sandpaper with my home address etched into it. The elevator suddenly screamed back to life and shot up to the 15th floor. When I got home, my front door was open. All my furniture, my sofa, my TV, my bed, had been replaced with perfect, grey concrete replicas. And in the kitchen, I could hear the sound of a stone head turning to greet me. I've been a night cashier at a 24-hour pharmacy for 2 years. You see a lot of weird stuff, but there's one regular who shows up every Wednesday at 3:14 a.m. We call him Salt Guy. He's a middle-aged man, always wears a crisp suit, and he only ever buys 3 containers of iodized salt. He never speaks. He just pays in cash and leaves. Last Wednesday, it was raining hard. Salt Guy came in, but he was bone dry. not a drop of water on his suit. When he placed the salt on the counter, I noticed his fingernails. They weren't nails. They looked like small, smoothed-down pebbles. I accidentally touched his hand when giving him change, and his skin felt like a bag of sand. It shifted under my touch, grainy and loose. I got curious, which is always a mistake. When he left, I watched him through the window. He didn't have a car. He walked to the edge of the parking lot, where the streetlights don't reach, and just stopped. He opened all 3 cans of salt and poured them in a perfect circle around himself. I went back to my tasks, but 10 minutes later, I looked out again. The salt circle was still there, but the man was gone. In his place was a pile of wet, dark earth, shaped exactly like a person lying down. This morning, I found a small trail of salt leading from the front door of the store, through the aisles, and ending right behind my register. I followed it back toward the cleaning supplies section. Tucked behind the bleach bottles was a generic white envelope with my name on it. Inside was no letter, just a Polaroid photo of me sleeping in my own bed, taken from the perspective of my ceiling. Across the bottom, someone had written in white chalk, "You're starting to leak. Keep yourself sealed. I haven't slept since. Every time I move, I swear I can hear something shifting inside my skin, like 1,000 tiny grains of sand rubbing together."